Hey guys, it's Lynn here from SwiftlySurreal, and today I'm going to show you the difference between a thrift store and a consignment store, as well as the pros and cons of both, in order to help you, especially if you're a beginning thrifter, decide what kind of style of thrifting you like better. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to split up how I how I score a thrift store and a consignment store into 4 sections. The first section is cleanliness. The second section is price. The third section is the quality of the clothes. And the fourth section is going to be the stuff. Now before I get started on anything, I think I should define the main difference between a thrift store and a consignment store. First off, a thrift store is usually along the lines of something like Goodwill or the Salvation Army or Savers. These thrift stores are all donation based, and they all run for charities usually. The clothes they get are for free, so then they sell it back for a cheaper price, but usually all of the proceeds go to charities. A consignment store, on the other hand, is more a product of capitalism. They basically buy the clothes. It's a profit-based kind of thrift store. They buy the clothes from people and then they sell it again at a higher price. But yeah, that's the main difference really. But you'll see that just this small difference of whether or not it's charity-based or profit-based makes a huge difference on your shopping experience. That was really repetitive. Anyway, on to the scoring. So the first section is cleanliness, and I'll be talking about thrift stores first. You'll usually find thrift stores are messier and smellier, and usually more crowded. It's not a very pleasant kind of shopping experience. Sometimes you find a good thrift store, but if it's a good thrift store and it's very clean, odds are its prices are more expensive. A consignment store cleanliness, though, they're usually a lot cleaner. This is mostly because they do make more money, and with this money they can hire more workers to clean. It's just usually if you're making money, you usually use that money for better purposes in order to make the... That's why you usually see consignment stores are more appealing to the eye than a thrift store. Like if you imagine a Crossroads versus a Goodwill or something. Yeah. The second section is price. So thrift stores are usually cheaper because the clothes are donated. So I mean, imagine getting a shirt that's like for $0. You can sell it at $1, $2, $3, and it won't be you make profit either way. You make money. As opposed to a consignment store, they are usually more expensive because they buy the clothes. Though they don't usually buy the clothes at a really expensive price unless you're looking at like a vintage shop or something like that. But yeah, clothes are being bought and sold, that's why they are usually pricier. But they're not as pricey as vintage shops. Now the third section is the quality of the clothes. At a thrift store, more often than not, you'll find stains, rips, and tears in the clothing. That's because the Goodwill will usually take anything that anybody gives them. Some thrift stores do have a better policy at that. Like if something is like really ratty and tattered and gross looking, they won't sell it, but others will just throw it out there and be like, hey, for 50 cents someone might be desperate enough to buy this. At a consignment store, however, it is better maintained. They usually wash their clothes before they sell it. It's better quality because what employees at consignment stores usually do is they go to the thrift store and then they actually find good quality stuff and then bring it back to the consignment store to sell at a higher price. Because of this, because they don't just take anything and just sell anything, they have a higher standard of what kind of clothes to sell, so that's why you usually get better quality clothing. Now, stuff. I can't quite explain what I mean by stuff. I think mostly it's the quantity of clothing you get and just the stuff that you find in general. At a thrift store, for the same amount of money you spend at a consignment store, you will get a lot more stuff because it's so cheap. A thrift store too, it's just the fact that there are so much more kind of things there, because a consignment store, they pick out employees who have a certain taste in items to like pick out clothes to sell there. But at a Goodwill or a Salvation Army, it's just everything goes. Now onto consignment stores. The stuff there, unless you have a similar taste with who is in charge of the consignment store, you might not find exactly what you want. But yeah, that's what I basically think based on the 4 sections that I decided to to use to score the thrift and consignment stores. Now onto the section where I talk about my own opinion on thrift versus consignment stores. It might sound like I don't like thrift stores because the way, if you explain it, it doesn't sound very appealing. You'd be like, oh, I'd rather pay more and go into the consignment store because odds are I'll find something better even if I have to pay a higher price, but at least the clothes I'm buying aren't smelly and gross and tears, stains and everything like that. But I do prefer thrift stores over consignment stores, and this is why. It's because of the experience that you get from shopping at a thrift store. It's like you're on a treasure hunt, to make it sound really cliche and cheesy, but there's like a whole bunch of crap you gotta go through just to find the diamond in the rough, and I think that's the best part because it's so much more satisfying to spend 2-3 hours in a thrift store just to find the one perfect thing, and then you end up getting it for like $2 as opposed to consignment store where you find so many perfect things, but then it's like, oh my god, I'm such a poor college student, I can't afford like a $15 skirt that's basically the same thing as I can get from Forever 21 or something, except probably new. It's just preference. I really don't mind the smell, I don't mind the environment. I'd rather pay less and get a worse shopping experience, well, shopping experience as according to like the cleanliness of the area and all the clothes that you have to look through and blah blah blah. I'd rather pay less and get that as well as like $2 shoes. You know what I mean? Consignment stores, they are pricier. It's a better shopping experience depending on what you're into. For me, a good shopping experience is actually looking through everything and finding something that's so amazing and really, really cheap. For others, it might be going through everything and then finding a bunch of stuff for not as cheap, but you know, to each their own. Sorry if I kept looking down and stuff. I wrote everything down and I haven't quite memorized everything I wanted to say yet, so that's why I'm a little frazzled in this video. And what do you like about the lighting? I feel like... Ooh, that's weird. I feel like my skin glows. It's because I put this on the cloudy setting. Because it's really cloudy outside right now. Anyone who lives like in the Bay Area, especially close to San Francisco, around Berkeley or anything, you'll notice that the weather has been really weird lately. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if my tips were helpful at all, please let me know in the comments below. If you have any questions about thrifting whatsoever, I love to give tips and tricks about anything. But since I have a series on thrifting, I prefer it to be about thrifting. But if you have any questions about anything, sure, just go ahead and put it in the comments below. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Bye!